How's it going, everyone? My name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Higurashi When They Cry Chapter 6. The last episode, the one before it, and especially the one before that one, have all been absolutely insane, and I would say peak episodes in the entirety of all these Higurashi chapters. It has been nuts, these past three, and I think the last episode would have to be probably my favorite one, or one of my favorites at least, in all that we have recorded, because sure, there wasn't much that happened, it was just a lot of talking, but amongst our main characters getting on the same level, putting out the mistakes that they have made, recently and a year ago, and I think all of the events that we saw in these previous chapters have kind of led to this, not directly, but has allowed us as the viewer to finally get some satisfaction out of seeing something such as this. I kind of went into a ramble in the end of the last episode, but it was incredible. I really, really enjoyed the events of the last episode especially. And now, we get to truly finish the job by, I guess now we're helping Rena. We went to the place in the mountains of Yaguchi that Rena had picked for burying the bags. Carrying corpses is a scary thing to do, but it made us united more strongly because of that. Since each part of the corpses is a separate plastic trash bag, we can tell what's inside in each bag by touching it. First, we forced ourselves to laugh whenever we had to touch the bodies because we were scared, but after a while we got used to it, to the point where we could make jokes about it. Of course, all that was probably a bluff, but we all tried our best. Mion somehow had detailed knowledge of how to hide a corpse, and she told me to dig the hole deeper. Rika-chan helped to carry the bags. Sadako used her talent of setting traps to perfectly camouflage the place where we buried the bags. Me? I was in charge of digging the hole. Rena dug it earlier, but I made it a little deeper. After we finished all that, we walked back to the place where we parked our bicycles, and we looked back at the place where we buried the bags. It was completely unnoticeable. We'd never be able to find the place again once we left for home. And that's how perfect it looked.
Yossha! Minna o tsukare-san! Kore de oshimai da ne. Kaero kaero!
Mion said it cheerfully, as if we just finished club activities or something. We had no more bags to carry, and we no longer had any burden to carry either. We got on our bicycles, but Rena was still standing there, looking into the distance.
Oi, Rena.
ごめん。ちょっと熱が出ちゃったみたいで、なんかぼーっとする。
Rena's face looked slightly red. Mion touched Rena's forehead. It actually was a little warm. She had a tough day today. She had to go through so many things. She had to find a place to hide the corpses. She had to dig a hole. We caught her with the bags. We talked about our feelings, and we forgave each other. She must be exhausted after a day like that.
レナ、今日は帰ったらゆっくり休め。
ありがとう。そうするね。
レナ、私たちはもう全部許し合ったんだよ。だから、自分を責めちゃダメだからね。
やっぱり、みんなの言う通りだったよ。
何がだ？
やっぱり私、自分を騙せてなんかなかった。どう自分の行為を美化したって、私は心の中で恐ろしいことをしたと、みんなに助けてもらって、ここまで来てこんななんだもん。もしみんなと会わずに、一人で全てを片付けていたら、私は耐えきれず、潰されてしまったかもしれない。
She said all this with a bitter smile. It might take her a long time to heal from the pain, but it must be 100 times shorter than the time it would have taken if she did this all alone. At least it's possible. It's giving her the possibility to, absolutely do so. Rena's home was the closest from here. Rena went her way, and the four of us were left behind. Mion made a suggestion.
明日からなんだけどさ、みんな揃って今日のことを忘れるのがいいと思うんだけど、どう思う？
そうですわね。それが一番レナさんにとって優しいことになると思いますわ。レナは強い人です。僕たちがそう振る舞えば、レナもそう振る舞ってくれますですよ。
振る舞いもずっと続けてれば本当になるって言うもんな。
語らないことで、そのうち私たちは忘れていくよ。そして完全に忘れきった時が私たちのゴールだね。
おそらくその日は一生かけて来るか来ないかを探ることになると思いますです。そうかもしれませんわね。簡単に忘れられることではありませんでしたよ。
仮に生涯忘れられなくてもいい。大切なのは最後まで全員の胸にしまって秘めておくことなんじゃないかと思う。
思い出させない方が大事だからね。
We nodded in agreement just as my house came into view.
じゃあな、みんな。明日また学校でいつもの通りに。
いつもの通りに。いつも通りにトラップに引っかかり遊ばせですわね。
じゃあね、ケイちゃん。
Well, while I am in total agreement that they should probably forget about today and just move on, I think they need to not just forget or pretend that they have forgotten about the words that they said to one another, because if they do that, then, you know, fuck, it's pointless. After I parted with them, I still felt hot and dizzy. It felt really weird. I was even staggering to the front door. I felt as if I was floating in the air, like I just took some very strong cold medicine. Today, something very shocking, something that made me super happy, and something very embarrassing happened to me. I felt as if my heart and mind were about to explode because they were filled to the brim with both happiness and sadness. I don't know whether I made a crucial mistake today, or if I had the happiest day of my life. I don't know which it is, and all I could do was to stare blankly into space. I felt frustrated too. Even though they were my friends, I was caught in the act of abandoning the corpses. But at the same time, I felt relieved that my reliable friends accepted what I did. Those emotions were all mixed up in my heart, and they were equally strong, making it difficult for me to decide what I was feeling. I was losing my sense of balance. It was like the world was warping around me. I heard sounds as if I was in a shower, and everything left me with a feeling of unreality. When those emotions were about to make me lose control, I felt a heat on my wrist. The part where Keiichi-kun grabbed me earlier started throbbing. My feelings weren't cooperating with me, but the heat on my wrist calmed them down for me. I don't know how to express what I felt when my friends and I held shoulders together in a circle earlier, but the feeling was the only thing I knew to be real.
ただいま。あれ?
As soon as I opened the front door, I smelled it. It smelled really good. My father isn't good at cooking, but he likes trying to cook creative dishes, and I remember he used to cook something very challenging whenever he was in a good mood. So the smell was a sign that he felt that way. And that's why I always like this smell. The reason he's in a good mood is because he found a job. And not just any job. He found a job with a company created by friends from his old workplace. They remembered my father and promised to hire him. He told me that some of his other colleagues from the old company are also working there. It must be very encouraging for him to work with people he knows, because he hasn't worked for a long time. The dinner looked great, in contrast to how it tasted. It was a dinner to celebrate his new life, to show his determination to regain his bond with his daughter and to make a clean start. I talked about a lot of things with my father that night. It had been a long time since the last time I talked with him like this. I don't remember when it was, but it reminded me of the days I was still happy, which meant that I'd finally returned to that time. My father still believes that Teppei is coming back one day, so he's still very cautious about locking the doors and windows, and he gets scared every time someone rings the doorbell. I told him so many times that he'd never come back, or that they'd never come back, but I couldn't convince him because I couldn't tell him the reason why they won't. He'll eventually realize that he's free. I'm sure it won't take too long. My heart was full of many, many emotions that day. If emotion could actually burst a heart open, it might happen to me. My brain must have been overworked because so many things happened at once. My head was still fuzzy, but I managed to crawl into bed. I felt like the ground was moving and I totally lost my sense of reality. I remember that I once felt like this when I got the flu. I might get a high fever tomorrow, but I don't care. I don't care if I get sick tomorrow. I just wanted to enjoy the fact that I took a step towards the future of my decision. Keiichi-kun told me something like that today. The high fever and dizziness made me feel frustrated for some reason. But whenever I felt frustrated, I felt the heat on my wrist too. I grabbed my wrist with my left hand tightly. It made the frustration go away and brought me relief. Even the dizziness I didn't like just before made me feel like I was in a down-filled futon. I was falling asleep in that down-filled futon on my first night in a new world. This dizziness didn't go away for a few days, but I gradually got used to it. This new world looked like the world I used to live in before. But the sunshine was a little bit brighter, and Keiichi-kun's smile looked a little bit more gentle than before. We made more noise than we used to. We spent every day slowly, but in high spirits. Oh, what an idiot I am. I underestimated that dizziness, and I caught a summer cold in June. I wanted to get better as soon as possible. I should have taken a day off from club activities, but I forced myself to play with them every day, and that made it hard for me to get better. Well, yeah. I finally learned my lesson recently. I don't need to feel frustrated. There's no limit to happiness in this world. As long as we keep wishing for it, it'll continue forever. I don't need to feel frustrated anymore because tomorrow I will have the happiness I have today. We'll have the Watanagashi festival next Sunday. Mi-chan tells us that we'll have a lot of fun and that we'll go extra crazy. Oh yeah, I really can't wait. Honestly, I can. Everything goes to shit after the festival. So far, everything seems okay right now. I mean, there have been some murders. But, you know, shit's most definitely going to hit the fan whenever we, well, you know, hit the festival. You're crying right now with a teardrop is our achievement. Let us check our tip. Letter from the forestry office. It's still June, yet the air is filled with the cries of cicadas. How is everyone in Hinamizawa doing? The Watanagashi festival is coming just around the corner. We staff members from the forestry service are going to perform a wood sculpting demonstration at the festival. We'll be happy to lend our tools and teach your kids how to sculpt wood themselves. It'll be an excellent memorial gift. Also, we would like to inform everyone that we're going to cut down trees in the local hills this summer as part of the number something fourth forest landscape management project. What a name. This project involves preserving the beauty of the forest by cutting down old trees and planting new ones. The Forestry Service needs volunteers who are interested in helping us cut down the old trees. You can enjoy the beauty of nature under the blue sky while helping out with this preservation activity. The project will begin during summer break, so you can bring your kids too. This will be a good opportunity for your kids to learn about nature and have a valuable experience. The locations of the project are the forests... The Takatsudo and Yaguchi areas. Of course. Of course. How coincidental. Just fantastic. Ooh.
笑い続けていれば、いつか幸せになれると信じてきた。誰かのことを思えば、相手も自分を思ってくれると信じてきた。
Uh-oh.
悲しかった思い出を置き去りにして、少女は明日を見つめようと前を向く。
Yes, that is what's happening, I think.
甘えず、頼らず、たった一人で未来を切り開くために。その先にあるものは、幸せか、それとも不幸せか。
I unfortunately think it's the latter.
罪滅ぼし。誰かを愛したかった。でも本当は誰かに愛されたかった。
I think that's actually usually the case. You know? We as humans seek affection and all that. Well, the Watanagashi has finally arrived, for surezies. We all know that what that means. I mean, especially with that, those little scenes that we get. I don't know if it states that you're at the halfway point. I don't think it's the halfway point, but how I see it is like the turning point. It's like, okay, everything that we just went through is like a prologue. Now that we have gone through all those events, we are now in the meat of it all. Or at least we're approaching it. All right, let's see what goes on here. I'm down.
シロップはイチゴにメロンにブルーハワイがあるよ。おみくじたこ焼きいかがですか？あたりにはマスタードがげっしり。
There are a great many booths at this year's Watanagashi festival. Anything can welcome a festival if there are vendors selling food and music for bon dances, I thought. It's still June, but it had been extremely hot the past few days, almost as if it's already summer. When you have a June festival with bon dance music under this kind of weather, I don't know what bon dance music even is. The only thing that's missing to make it a perfect summer festival is fireworks. Okay, I guess we're not following Keiichi. I heard a voice coming from my portable radio. With this earphone, it looks a little like I'm secretly listening to the horse races while on duty.
Sono mugicha, kimuchu ni nomeru mugicha, nomenai mugicha. その麦茶、缶ならもらっといてください。コップなら自体でお願いします。はい、了解です。それと、紹介役員が挨拶に来てます。村長と、あと、園崎家の方からも。お寮のばあさま？やだな。大石は巡回中でいつ戻ってくるかわからないとか言ってごまかせません？あのばあさま、死ぬときは絶対脳梗塞ですね。了解了解。すぐに戻ると丁重にですよ。お伝えください。
Oh well, I guess I'll have to go back and mingle with the locals. All of a sudden, a group of kids came running towards me from behind. After a quick look at them, I noticed that they were the granddaughter of the old bag and her friends. Okay, I'm sorry. Maybe I should read the rest of the sentence before getting confused. They occupied a corner of the shooting gallery stall, making a lot of noise. As is tradition, Mion Sonozaki. When acting her age, she's a cute normal girl. An anime girl at that. But do I ever hate it when she acts like a member of the Sonozaki family. She'll be the boss of the Okinomiya Yakuza territory in 10 or 20 years. Just you wait and see. And while I was thinking things like that, I noticed that Mion wasn't the one taking leadership of her group this time. It was the boy. And that boy, I know him. He just moved here recently. The boy from the Maibara mansion. Keiichi Maibara-kun, was it? I heard that the Maibara family is from the city and they're supposedly very rich too. But he doesn't flaunt his family's wealth, and he has a good reputation because of that. Even though he just moved here, he's already adjusted to his new school, and he's popular with his classmates too. Everyone in the village seems to like him as well. He's very interesting to watch as a person of many moods. Boys of his age sure have a lot of energy. Ah, to be young again. Yeah, you're fucking telling me.
Oi! 次はレナだぜ。ここでレナはかなり美味しいタイミングだぜ。
大丈夫レナ？具合悪いんじゃないの？
ごめん。 書と書籍は横で見てたいかな。なら無理をしないで休んでいるといいのです。ではレナさんを飛ばしてここでいよいよ真打ち、私の出番でございましてよ。
It looked like only 4 of them were having a good time. The girl called Rena seemed outside of that circle of smiles. Her name is Rena Ryugu. What was her real name? I couldn't remember, but I can check when I get back to the station. Rena is only a nickname. I believe she moved here a year before Maibara-kun did. Her mother divorced her father or something like that. She's a strong girl who does all the housework by herself. She's a very modest girl, I'm told, which is rare in this era. Unlike Maibara-kun, it seems like she hadn't really opened up to her friends just yet. They had looked like a group of 5, but there's distance between her and the others. It's a little sad, you know. Maibara-kun has become a part of the village, but Rena is still by herself. Well, that's just how it looks to me.
おいし了解。地域のお祭りにまで挨拶に来るなんて、うちの所長は地域交流に豆だな。沖宮の祭りに来たって話は聞いたことないのに。
ああ、こちら高杉です。大石さん聞こえますか？
はいはい、大石です。ただいま全速力で帰還中ですよ。もう1分ほどお待ちを。
If I don't hurry up, even the chief might end up calling me. I ran back to the headquarters tent. So, I guess events are just occurring right now. Yep. Everything is going as per tradition. Poor guy is gonna die. Did we ever find out why they're targeted? Is it just... Oh, you know what? Okay, I know why they're... Sorry. That was a brain fart. We can go into the assumption that they're always breaking into the... We can always go into the assumption that they're breaking into the storehouse every year. I would assume that Keiichi and Shion are not doing that this year because... Or in this chapter, because... Well, Shion hasn't really had any involvement, and I guess there's no issues. This isn't her time to shine or whatever. I don't know. If you think about it like a visual novel with routes, we did not select the routes that pointed in the direction of Shion having to be as mischievous as she was in chapters 2 and 5. And the regular 2 seem to have died. Higurashi entered the cordoned-off area. In there, people from forensics were taking pictures of the corpse from various angles. Irie was squatting down next to the body, or the dead body, of Jideo Tomatake. Oh, thank God I actually said his name. I actually forgot it. When he stood up, he looked pale.
信じられません。
そりゃ私だって信じられませんよ。初見で見た限り、仏は喉をかきむしっています。それも自分の手でです。こいつはまっとうな死に方じゃない。十中八九、何らかのヤバめな薬物でしょう。
彼は何らかの薬物の常習者だったということでしょうか。
さあね。そいつを調べるのはどうやら我々の仕事になりそうです。
大石さん、この角材は
多分仏が振り回したんじゃないかと思います。で、途中で捨てて喉をかくのが楽しくなっちゃったんじゃないかと。
角材を何のために振り回したんでしょう。
I guess, the real question is, why are they not, why are they targeted? Why are they getting killed every time we go through this part of the game? But I guess the question is, who actually goes out and kills them? I don't think it's important, but it sort of seems like there was some self-defense, and I think this is related to that needle. I think this is that drug that has been brought up a few times.
自衛のためと考えるのが一番自然だと思います。仏の体に外傷がいくつかあるのに気づいてます？
ええ、打撲傷を思わせる跡が いくつか散見できます。
ってことは、一番考えられるストーリーは、仏が祭り終了後、沖宮へ帰る途中、ここで何者かに襲われた。それで取り押さえられて怪しげな注射とかそういうのをされて、その結果錯乱させられて死に至らしめられた。
喉をかきむしるように誘導できる薬物なんて聞いたことがありません。
私もそっちは専門じゃありませんが、薬物中毒の一つに自傷行為ってあるらしいじゃないですか。まあその辺はうちの鑑識のじい様が調べてくれるでしょう。
おいさん、失礼します。ここから数百メートルのところに富武二郎のものと思われる自転車が見つかりました。
お、そうですか。ありがとうございます。何か手がかりとかは？
いえ、初見では特には。今鑑識が言っています。
じゃあつまりその自転車があった場所が襲撃場所と考えていいんでしょうね。それで戦ったり逃げたりしてここまで来た。
Ueshi frowned, crossing his arms in front of his chest. Irie was looking at the miserable corpse of Tomitake, and he kept saying the same thing over and over.
ありえない。絶対にありえない。
先生、ありえちゃったんだから仕方がないです。発想を柔軟にしましょう。まあ先生でもこんな死体はなかなか見慣れてるものじゃないか。先生はもう結構ですよ。
What did he mean by it's impossible?
お帰りになられて十分休んでください。救命活動でお呼びしたはずだったんですが、無駄足になってしまって申し訳ないです。
Ueshi stuck his head out of the blue tent and asks, "Can anybody give him a ride home?" Irie gasped all of a sudden as he turned to Ueshi.
そうだ。高野さんはどうなったんです？
え？お宅の看護師さんの？
多分富武さんと一緒だったと思うんです。高野さんは無事なんですか？
先生、彼女の電話番号はわかります？
もちろんです。
熊ちゃん、入江の先生に電話番号を聞いて署から在宅確認を取らせてください。
了解っす。先生、番号。
はい。よろしいですか
Kumagai got the phone number from Irie, repeated it back, and then dashed away from the blue tarps.
先生、高野さんと仏は確か親しい仲でしたよね。
ええ。
何かトラブルがあったとか、そういうのは聞いたことがあります？
まさか、聞いたことないです。仲のいい二人でした。
何事もなけりゃいいんですがね。下手すりゃ仏か、それとも星か。
Or, dead, but also burned.
なるほど。
To a nice crisp.
看護師なら怪しげな薬物を取り扱えてもおかしくはないですよね。
そんな薬品はうちの診療所にはありませんし、あったとしても厳重に保管されています。高野さんに持ち出せるわけがない。
それでも一般人よりは容易でしょ。
ですからそもそもそんな薬物は聞いたことがないし、当診療所にも存在しません。
大石さん、留守のようです。署の待機組の方で直接訪問すると言ってます。先生、すみませんが高野さんの住所を教えてください。
熊ちゃん、それプラス県警に今夜出た身元不明の女性死体がないか確認を取ってください。あるいは県外の可能性もあるんだ。課長に近県にも同様に身元不明の女性死体が出ていないか確認を取るよう伝えてください。
了解っす。
高野さんも殺されているということですか？
Or the culprit, which I, obviously doubt.
どうでしょうね。まだ害者とも星とも決まったわけじゃありません。もちろん無関係って可能性だって残ってます。
This whole incident is fine and dandy and all, and I think it should be revisited in every chapter because it is quite the mystery in some regards, as I keep bringing up. But remember chapter 3 And yes, I saw that somebody left a comment, I think in the last episode, where apparently everybody's got to take a shot every time I bring up Chapter 3 in this playthrough. Do you guys remember back in Chapter 3 when Keiichi came across Takano and she had a bike in her back seat? Suspicious, don't you think?
明日は月曜だってのも構わず、その辺の飲み屋で飲んだくれてる可能性もありますからね。
The age of no cell
信じられ
phones.
ない。どうしてこんなことが。
まあ、私だって信じられないです。Hinamizawa村連続開始事件。これで5年目ですよ。お社様のたたりが5連続ってことになっちまいます。くそ。なんとか今年で尻尾を掴んでやりたいな。定年前にこの山だけはなんとか片付けたいんです。
Ushi hates the curse of Oyashiro-sama. It had been leading him around by the nose for 5 consecutive years. The victim of the first year, the manager of the dam construction site, was his friend. Despite his desire to avenge his friend, the mystery had only deepened, and one case followed another year after year. Ushi would be retiring next March. As a retiree, he'd be able to ask about the progress of the investigation, but he wouldn't be able to take the initiative anymore. In other words, this year was his last year for revenge. Would he have to put his head in the lion's mouth to capture the culprit? Ushi quietly clenched his fist. I believe that this maze has an exit. Maze is a very convenient word. A maze always has an exit. You don't call it a maze if it doesn't have one. I know I'm on the right path towards the exit of this maze. I used to miss these minor divergences, but now I don't miss anything. I don't make any mistakes. And this time I could feel a response that was different than all the other times. I'm sure I can finally get to the exit of this maze. But no matter which path I choose to come to this point, Jiro Tomatake always dies. That was an interesting line. And it's not gyro, it's I pronounced as an E, come on. It's simple Japanese, Michael, get it right. So what's going on now? It's obviously the next fucking evening, never mind. Time's just going, oh, next night, okay, never mind. Time really just be flying by right before our eyes. And okay, well, now it's 2 days later. Is time just passing? I guess it kind of is. For better or for worse. Well, that's not good. Ren is still sick. Alright, we'll end the episode here. I am pretty tired. I had divided this episode up into 2 recording sessions, but definitely tired here in the second part. Thank you all for watching. This one was obviously a little quieter, not as crazy as the past 3, but I am excited to see where this goes, to kind of see, alright, obviously there's that convenient, alright, let's dig up these trees and start planting new ones, so we're gonna find the body parts. Of course that's gonna happen. What a convenience. So interested to see where that's gonna go, and very curious as to what's gonna happen with Rena as we continue forward. She's not feeling well right now, but how are things gonna be when she recovers? What sort of direction are we gonna go in? Are the friendship, the family made of friendship or whatever, is that gonna fall apart? Is there gonna be some other factor that tries to destroy this friendship? Are we going to learn some big-ass clues as to what the fuck is happening? You know, obviously we don't know who the culprit is in a certain regard. I mean, we know it's not the Sonozaki family specifically, but we do know for a fact that this village has a problem. And we're gonna solve that problem. Maybe, I don't know. But anyways, thank you all for watching this episode. I'm really tired. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Leave a like, subscribe, and all of that. See you guys.